Welcome to another episode of Off Script. I am your host, Will May.
And I am Ashley. We are brokerage owners of Toast Real Estate and team leaders. And today we are going to be talking about how to know if you're in the right space, what models we offer at Toast, and help you assess and determine what the next steps are for you for 2026.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun episode.
Yeah.
We're touching a sensitive topic in the real estate world, in the sales world, recruiting. Essentially, this is what we're doing, is we're going to tell you exactly who we're looking to bring into our organization in 2026, and then help you recognize things that every agent we go through. I mean, this is a life lesson too, right? Like how to know when you've outgrown the people you're around or the room that you're in is what we're calling it, right?
Yep.
So it's interesting because along our path as an agent, like there are times where we outgrow the space that we're in, the team that we're in, the brokerage, whatever it might be. And it's interesting because that can be a really emotional time where you're like, I've got to the place where I'm at now because of this place, but also what's my next step? How do I continue to grow?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because sometimes when you're in a spot for a really long time and you outgrow that space, it can be really hard to make a transition or leave because you feel this sense of loyalty for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I personally am on my fourth and last brokerage move, I hope so, right? And been on a few teams myself over my 10-year real estate journey. So it took me a lot of different teams, brokerages to really go through that learning journey to find the right fit and the right place for me. And sometimes they were the right fit for me at the time and the place of where I was at in my career. And then I eventually started to outgrow some of those spaces, people, conversations, and systems, and I needed to be challenged a little bit more.
Yeah. I want to talk through some like actual things that agents may be feeling and what that might actually feel like. Because sometimes it's like, well, we get so focused in the real estate world on numbers, right? Versus like, what actually is the value that I'm getting here and is it helping me move forward? So when you walk into meetings and realize that you might be the one pushing the conversation forward, or when you walk into meetings and you might be the only one that's the one helping grow, right? Or the one that's pushing growth into the conversation, and it's more complaining and more gossiping more than it is growth minded, that might be a time where you're like, hey, I don't know if this is helping me succeed or hit my goals.
Right. It's not just about numbers and production, although that's important to be around high producers and high performing talent that's going to push you, but also the culture that you're in and the environment that you're in. And for me personally, I started feeling like I wasn't learning a lot anymore and I wasn't growing and I wasn't in a space where I could bring back any value to help me improve myself and my business. And that's when I kind of started questioning, okay, what is the next step for me? And, you know, of course you go to your team leader or brokerage and see if there's opportunity or changes coming, but that's the space that I think a lot of people find themselves in and they don't really know where to go, who to talk to, or what's next.
Yeah. Really important part there is when you do go back to your team leader brokerage, if the only fix that there is a better split, that's only a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid fix. That's not something that's going to help you grow and develop your business. It's just going to get you short-term more money, right? Which can be a good thing, but at the same time, there's probably a place out there that's going to help you develop the business that you're wanting to develop.
And if your stopgap at that point is you don't have the business or you don't have the leads or you don't know how to generate that, giving you a higher split isn't going to solve anything if you don't have the clients, the database, and the resources to figure out how to convert. Yeah,
and accountability, right? Number two, this one's very, like for us, we're big on this, and it's hard to, talk details on, but energy. You know, when you walk into a room, if you align with that energy or if it feeds you and you feel inspired from that, that's great. That means you're around the right people. And if you feel kind of drained or negative or down or skeptical of what's going to happen in your business or market, that is a very, very clear sign to trust your gut and start thinking about the people you're around.
Yeah, if you find yourself wanting to work from home and isolate all of the time, then I think that would be a yellow flag or a trigger to start questioning if you're in the right space.
Yeah, there's time and place for that.
Yeah.
Like to work from home and to be able to get your stuff done. But if you're avoiding going around people because naturally they don't make you feel like you're in the right, alignment with your goals, that's a problem. Number 3 here, accountability is not present. Right? Accountability is big in our culture. I'll let you talk about accountability and how that's played into your success in your career, but also in your real estate journey, but there should be some sense of accountability in the space that you're in. Otherwise, you're just openly doing this on your own.
My thoughts on accountability are, I think people sometimes see it as a negative or a bad word of they're in trouble, but I think any successful person at some point has a coach, a mentor that holds them accountable to taking that next step. So I think that's critical for the success of anybody, regardless of where you're at in your career, no matter how many units, volume you've doing. If you're a team leader, like, you always need to have somebody that's pushing you and mentoring you, that's been in that space that you're trying to go next.
Yep.
Because why make it harder than it has to be?
Why recreate the wheel?
Yes.
Right. So there should be some sense of accountability or structure there for you to either opt in or be a part of coaching, development, training, something of that nature.
Yep.
If you find yourself in a place where you're feeling anxious or fear or worry about hitting your goals next year, like, can I do this? And you're not having any sense of excitement around that, that is another clear sign. Like, you got to reassess where you're at and if you're surrounding yourself with the right structure and the right people. I think that's a big one. It's normal, I would say, to feel anxious and a little bit of like stress or worry about, hey, am I going to be able to do this next year? There's a big difference between challenging and feeling like I don't have the resources, tools, and the supporting group in order to get there.
100%. I wouldn't add anything to that.
Okay. And then lastly, I think the one thing we had down here was, it's not ego, it's just your potential asking to be able to act out, right? Like, it's your potential saying, I need more space to grow. I have more in me and I want to get to the next level, but where I'm at right now doesn't have the structure, or nobody's done what I'm looking to do. And that's, again, another clear sign, like, hey, we might need to look at, changing scenery here.
Sure. Yes, and we're going to kind of get into how we do things at our brokerage and what some of our models are. So full transparency, we're going to walk through our core model, our shared services model, and our independent model, and what that offers, what that looks like for people, and how we can help them grow in those different venues here.
Yeah. So let's start off with, our most important, which is our core team. Most important, I say that because that's where we trial and error things. That's what sets the tone for our brokerage and our organization. That's what you lead, is our core team. That's how this whole thing started.
Yep.
For agents out there that listen or maybe grab value from our podcast, everything we talk about is how to build your own core team.
Yes.
If you're a single agent, this is what you want to be building, not the other models that we have right now.
Yeah, and our core model is a little bit different than how a lot of people operate their business. It's highly, highly specialized. Looking to do anywhere from probably 40 to 60 units per person in that model before they move on to the next phase of that, which is us hiring support for them, showing assistants, executive secretaries, things like that. So we have those broken down into new construction specialists in our core model, lead buyer agent in our core model, and then lead listing agent, which is myself, where we are highly specialized. We only stay in our lane. We become the experts in that one area and have administrative support, so we can produce at a really high volume without sacrificing the client care and the client experience, because we are just staying in our niche, if you will.
Yeah. Will you, like, before we go into the details and goals for 2026, will you talk a little bit about your idea, or what did you call this, the giving model? And like, high level, what does that mean, and what does that mean to you when you talk about the giving model?
So what I mean by that is, how it started, right? Before there was a buyer agent, there was a new construction specialist, having to give in order to get, or in order to grow. It's a different model because you have to put yourself in a position of abundance and the mindset that I have to give to somebody else and give to others. For me, it was Katie, my lead buyer agent this last year, in order to see the growth for both of us. I can't possibly do more listings if I'm doing listings and buy sides and showing houses and all of that. And Katie, as a newer agent coming in, didn't have the database and clientele to do the amount of volume that she is now doing. So it was a win-win for both of us, because I'm able to give to her business while taking a split from that, right? That's how the model works. While also being able to produce at a higher level in my lane as a listing specialist. She became a very, very strong expert in her area by doing a high volume of buy-side deals. And now, a year later, she's next phase of that is going to be training the showing assistant, who will become our next buyer agent. So it does take the right people and trust in this model, because you have to be very selfless and be okay with giving business to somebody else in order to grow both of your business. And I think that takes the right people and alignment and trust between the people in that role. And now Maya, as of in the last 2 weeks, she's transitioning into our new construction specialist, because that has become, I'm at capacity, if you will, on the new construction side. And so giving that up and giving up that control of that and creating a path for somebody else to find a lot of success is really what that model is all about, is giving in order for us all to get.
Yeah. I got to give you props on this, because so many people try this or try to go down this path, and what they do is they get a little greedy, or they maybe don't follow the model so much. And you're very, very structured on, we're going to follow the model through and through, no matter what, all the way from the very beginning. When you started this, and I was coaching you then, like you were structured, and you wanted to give up on it a couple times, but you saw it through and you did the right thing consistently. And the one thing that we learned is, if you feed the model will become bigger than you.
Yes. And
I think it continues. Now it's a snowball that, like there's so much momentum there that you could just be, not that you could stop, but if you were gone for a week, everything keeps moving now.
Yeah, it really does. And it was hard to stick to the model in some of those situations. And like you say, sticking to it, I think that builds trust with the person you're on. So just to kind of speak to what Will's saying, I had a $1 million client, a buy-side deal. They only needed to look at one house, wanted to write an offer. And it would be very easy to somebody I've known for 20 years for me to just write that up and take that, if you will. But
and I've seen this personally. I've seen like the high price ones, the team leader keeps this, that, and the other. So.
Yep. And it builds trust. That went directly to our lead buyer agent, and we obviously mentored throughout that. And that built a lot of trust with that person. And it also buys buy-in and loyalty to the model that, hey, my team leader and this person is going to take care of me, and she lead gens in return, sends me listings. So it's this just model of trust and authenticity that we have, that it's really, like you said, grown much bigger than us. The momentum is there where I don't think we could slow down if we wanted to.
Yeah. Yep. And there's other instances where, Katie will have to show so many houses and work a lead for so long, right? The exact opposite of that. And that's where it all evens out. And that's where that trust, I think, comes in, of getting to that place. But I want to talk about how does a core team get to the place that we're at with our core model? And that is a single agent doing quite a bit of business. The first step is not to go hire another agent, it's to leverage.
Yep.
So finding yourself an operations, marketing, TC, admin type of person that can help push your business forward and leverage you a little bit to get time back, which then means we have to spend more time doing one of my favorite things, lead generation. Lead generation, building the pipeline up, and getting to that place where you're probably in that range of like 35 to 45 units, and then taking the really critical and risky step of hiring a buyer agent and then passing all of your buy-side deals off to that person.
All of them.
Yep.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. Every single one. And in that process, probably another leverage piece of some kind, or operations support piece. But once you guys both are at a place where I'm handling all buy sides, I'm handling the listing side of things, that's where complete focus on accountability, lead generation, building the pipeline is important, and then having that communication between clients, because some are buying and selling, and you're doing a lot of handoffs.
Yep, 100%. And a question I get all the time is, why would somebody want to be a buyer agent, and why would they want to be showing house all the time? Well, sometimes things in life are harder before they get better and get easier, right? But Katie bought into a model. She bought into the vision of where we were going, and knowing that as the work's put in, and she has, the next phase is then hiring that person, a showing assistant, and that support, so that they're just focusing on writing offers, negotiating deals, and doing buyer consults. So, sometimes it does get harder before it gets easier, but there's a support and a system built in on the back end so that everybody can have that work-life balance as the model grows.
Yep. And then it's just, the model has to have lead funnels inside of it. So our focus in the core model, when you started this and I started coaching you were heavy social media. And we made that switch year one to database as being your number one lead funnel, with social media being more of like an add-on and pulling people into your database. And then from there, as we've gotten bigger, now we have 3 lead funnels. Which for us, again, when you feed the model gets bigger than you. So if you're out there and you're like, hey, I'm going to start a team, this is the way to start a team.
I agree.
To do it the right way.
I've done it 5 different ways, and seen it 5 different ways.
This is the right way to build a team. It's going to be the most profitable. You have the most control of your direction. And like you said, that's where we can get our agents to get to that 40 to 50, maybe 55, depends on buy sides, maybe go a little higher, units per agent in this model, if we build the lead funnel for them to step into.
Yes.
So from that, we've had database has been built, and that started with like a 50 to 60 communication point marketing plan year one. And that now has built to, I think we're at 96 in 2026.
96 touch points.
We'll have 96 touch points for our core team. And we're trial and erroring things every single year to see if it works. If it doesn't, we get rid of it, try something new, and just continuing to build that communication with the database. So that's evolved over, and that's really our bread and butter, about 51% of our business. That's evolved over the last few years. Now we have our listing, our ISA department, our listing process being developed, and our THI new construction partnership being developed.
Yes, I think the last thing I would add to this is, as far as having a successful core model, and this is something we'd be happy to teach and share and mentor somebody on, is the accountability piece. We mentioned accountability, but the tracking specifically with accountability. You can't really have a successful model if you don't know where to double down and what's working well. So tracking those combos, tracking your scripts and role play, conversations, appointments per week, all of that, and having some set of standards of activities for your model in order to know if it's working and continue to move it forward.
Yep. So our goal in 2026 with the core team, I'll let you talk about personnel. As a whole, our TOS organization, our goal is to get to 330 units next year. So 330 is our goal, and we've always had the idea.
How many agents do we have right now?
We have 12.
12. Okay.
So 12 agents. We've always had the idea that our core model will be 50% of our total units. So with that being said, our focus with our core team next year is to get to 150 to 165 is probably where we'll land, with 3 agents producing. So that might scare you a little bit, I imagine.
It did at first. I called Katie, since she couldn't be there for business planning, to let her know, 150, 170 units is our goal for you, me, and Maya. And she was like, that seems doable. So she's so bought into this model and has seen the success of it, that it works well, and just so much trust that the business is there and the leads will always be there because we built such a process. She wasn't even intimidated by that. Yeah,
it was fun. The second half of this year was more about locking in and dialing back on capacity. Can we handle this lead? Can we not? When you have that surplus of leads, that's what's really created our next discussion, which will be shared services and independent, how that side of the business started to grow as well. But why don't you talk about who we're looking to bring into this? This is more of a hire only structure for us, but I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so with the core model, we only hire within this model once it grows too big to where we need help. It's not something that we just bring an agent onto it. We have to need the help for that model. So right now, Katie is coming near to capacity as a lead buyer agent. I already did, which is why we now have Maya on the new construction side. So we are looking to hire a showing partner with the growth path of our next our next buyer agent under our buyer agent model. So we are looking for that is a full-time position, somebody that is a licensed agent, and this could be somebody that's a new agent looking to grow and be mentored by a top buyer agent, or it could be maybe an agent who is doing 4 to 8 deals a year, a low amount of volume, and really, really wants to push themselves to that next level and learn and educate themselves and be mentored on why am I continuing to plateau here, and move into more of a showing partner role that we expect probably within 6 months or so for that to transition into the next buyer agent role, just because of Katie's capacity issues, and then hire another showing assistant from there.
Yep, and as we develop our lead funnels, right? That should continue to help that position grow and grow. Talk about learning from failures. We're 2 to 3 showing assistant hires into this whole entire process, and we're learning every single time how to improve our hiring process, what that role looks like, and how the model is going to help that person have a growth path the right way. It always changes once we get the right person in there, right? Their potential and their skill sets will always help us navigate where they're going to go. But although I love where we're at, we still have our things. We still have things that we're learning from and growing, and we've set up structures for our agents that just didn't work. We had to go back, redo them. So it's all a learning process. So learn from our failures, but the model or the path that we went down is something that I would say anybody that wants to start a team should do. That way they have a little bit more control over their direction.
Yes, and I forgot to mention this just because we're talking about the position. So if you're listening and you know somebody or this may align with you, it is a salaried position on a bonus structure per deal closed. So that is kind of the structure of what that role looks like. So you can reach out to me directly, Ashley or Will, if you're interested in learning more about that position, what that looks like, just grabbing a cup of coffee with us and going over that core model and the growth path for that role if it is interesting to you.
Yeah. And then probably the goal, stretch goal, I would say, like end of 2026, to have a listing specialist for existing. So you were kind of handling both existing and new construction. We're developing Maya into that new construction specialist that will kind of oversee that lead funnel, and then existing is going to be your focus for the first half of the year. Goal by end of year would be to have a listing specialist that can talk about overflow or capacity that can help you on that side of things.
Yep. Right now, those go to our shared services agents to help with overflow if I'm at capacity. So we definitely are starting to realize as that overflow continues, the more I'm giving away overflow means we're probably ready for that next hire in the next 6 months to a year.
Yep. Cool. All right, let's move on here to shared services.
Okay.
I love this group. They've been with us like literally since we started to develop the team. Yeah. And they're the culture here, right? Like they're the people that we bring in. We think about every single day, how can we help make their lives a little bit easier or better? Sometimes it doesn't come across that way, but that's what the entire goal of that group is. And I would say these are our agents. Let's start with goal first. Our focus with the shared services group is to bring in 3 to 4 more by the end of next year that align with where we want to go with that. And our focus with the shared service is that they plug into all the things that we do with our core model. So I'll let you talk a little bit about what that means. Plug in. That seems like a term that real estate agents use often, right? Or teams do. What does that mean?
So everything that we test and pilot with the core model, we roll out then to shared services if it's successful or if it's converting, if you will. So some of the things, this is not all inclusive because the list is way too long, but marketing support, so that can mean email newsletter, it can help with social media posts, our events, our pop buys, all of those are provided giveaways, all of those are provided for our shared services agents and paid for at the expense of the team that they can quote unquote plug into. So they don't have to deal with the administrative burden of coordinating all that maybe a solo agent has to, and they can focus truly on developing their skill set and converting at a higher level, lead genning and doing more deals so that they can take that off their plate. They also have coaching and accountability, so tracking of that. You can speak a little bit more to that. And then there's a little bit less of financial responsibility too, if you will, because all of the listing services are paid for and coordinated for them, including photography, staging, pre-inspection, cleanings on their listings. So there's a whole encompassing list that we can share at the end of this and you can download. But those are just some of the examples of the things that they're provided to be part of this model so they can focus just on sales.
Yeah. And on a coaching side of things, we'll talk about our independent model in a little bit, but the coaching side for shared services is getting them to align with our marketing plan and then working through how many conversations, all the things we talk about from accountability, appointments, showings, open houses, what's in your pipeline. Coaching is there to set goals for the week to keep us focused on our unit goal that the agent may set, and then also align us with our operational staff and in the direction of our marketing plan. And if we do those things, we know that they're going to have a much higher success rate.
Yeah, and I'll add that they have the same agent expectations and standards that our core model has. So because they are still on a team, it's separate from our independent model, there is standards and expectations with script and role play, weekly coaching, all of those type of things. And I think that's a really, really good thing because we've noticed that those agents have found success and continued to pace at 15, 18, 20 units per year when they're doing these activities. We tend to see them at least hover around that 15 to 20 units and up if they're doing these activities regularly.
Yep. So just like providing the development and training to help somebody succeed with our inside of our model. I would say this: we have the best scripted agents in Omaha because we focus on it 3 times a week, and we have for years now, and that just continues to compound over time. So if you're probably our ideal agent probably is doing somewhere between, or wants to do between 15 to 35 units, and have all of the not the responsibility of running a team, and also be able to have that operational support that maybe you don't want to go hire or go have to rely or pay somebody else's salary.
Yeah.
So that sometimes that's a little bit of a struggle for folks, but also the part of being a team, being a part of a culture that's going to help you get better every single day.
Yeah. So, and not to put people in a box and say you have to be this person, but looking at our shared services, most of these people on our team are maybe moms with like young kids and things like that, where they don't have time outside of family and all of that to coordinate all of these things. Or maybe a newer agent who isn't fully capable or feel like they're not ready to be a solo agent because they need that more hands-on mentorship and support, where this could be a stepping stone to an independent role for some people if they're just wanting to learn how to operate the business and how to do it, quote unquote, the right way to build their business. And once they know what they're doing, transition to solo. So it can really be for all different types of people. And I think there's a fit for everybody.
Yeah. And yeah, I think you made a good point there. It could be a stepping stone to independent as well. My focus and our focus of that group is to retain them, and we want to be providing leads and setting appointments for them as well, and getting to a place where there's so much value there that why would you leave?
Right.
Why would you leave this model when we get all this support, all this training, development, accountability? I also look over each and every one of their listings to make sure we're priced where we should be, and just continuing to get more and more data on, like, are we doing the right things and is this working?
Yeah, no, you made a good point there. It's not necessarily that it needs to be a stepping stone, so I guess I should clarify that, and that's why we have that independent model too, right? We have the third one because it's not the right fit for everybody, but there's a season and a time and place for everybody with how they run their business, and as your life changes and the season of your life, there's an option to transition if you're feeling like maybe I do want to be a team leader one day, or those things that we're going to talk about here with the independent agent, that's kind of why that independent model was created. So there is a third path here outside of just core and shared services.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk there about the shared services model or group?
I don't think so. We talked about who we're looking for, and for next year looking to bring on, was it 3 to 6? 3 to 4. 3 to 4 shared service agents next year. So if this model interests you at all, again, reach out to us.
Yeah, so that would just, if you're looking at all thinking in 2026 a team might be right for me, this is going to be a different team than you see here probably in Omaha, and it's worth the conversation to see if it's something that might help you out, help you reach your goals. And okay, our last model is our independent model. Whereas the core team's kind of your baby, this is kind of mine. My goal is to get these people to pass your core team here soon. But these are
not a chance.
Independents. These are your crazy folks. No, these are the agents that are looking and want the responsibility of maybe starting a team down the road, or being that leveraged agent that has salary on staff that leverages them so that they can do what they do really well, which is lead generate, build relationships, and cultivate the pipeline.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought you were going to start saying something.
I don't know if you said this, future team leaders as well.
Yep. So
kind of
they want to start a team.
Like a lot of these are going to be, yes, our future team leaders that may be wanting to model after something that's already been done and coach through that, where they've hit capacity as a solo agent and they need somebody who's done what they've already done and been where they've already been to help them expedite that process instead of doing it the hard way like we did and experiencing all the failures and mess ups.
Yep. So these agents are probably wanting to do more than 25 units. There's a lot more responsibility when you're building a team or having an operational staff, so they don't take advantage of our marketing team and our operations/leadership team and the salaries that we have all the way. They get certain things like obviously our brokerage meetings, our brokerage training. Coaching is a big piece of what we do every single Friday. And what I'm doing with them is helping them develop skills and align with a vision for their business that aligns with their family goals, but then have the activities to match them.
Yeah, and I would also add, I think almost every single person in that model and people that you've talked to that are interested in coming into that you mentioned leverage agents. They're all looking for their next hire already, which is great because that means they're becoming at capacity as a solo agent. So they're all working with you right now on what is my next hire, whether that's an executive secretary, an admin assistant, starting a team. That's kind of all their next phase of where they're already at. Yeah.
We have 3 independents that are in coaching right now, and our goal with that group is to get them. I want to get this group to like 105 to 120 total units next year. So our goal would be to bring in 3 to 4 more independent agents. But yeah, all of them, 2 of them started with me halfway through the year, had very, very slow starts to the year, and I'd coached them previously, and we hopped right back into structure, accountability, tracking numbers, and they're pacing really, really well. with a big outlook for 2026. And then same with Miles he did 9 deals last year. We're at 18 year to date, and we're continuing to grow that. And I know he's at the same kind of path of wanting to start a team here soon.
What are you looking for when you're interviewing people? I know we've had a couple of people that have asked to meet with you that we did not bring on. So what are you not looking for? What are you expecting from people who are interested in coming over on our 100% model, our independent model? What do you need from them?
Yeah, number one is aligning with our core values. Our culture is really, really important. So nobody's bigger than the team. Nobody's bigger than the organization here. So there's a lot of agents out there that maybe have big personalities and big egos, and that's totally fine. But your activities have to match what you're saying, right? And so a big part of this for me is hard work ethic, coachability and growth-minded mindset, and then the ability to go out and actually perform. So if you have those three things, or you think you have those three things, those are the people that I want to talk with.
Okay.
That the growth-minded part and no ego are two things that are really important to our culture, and then the work ethic is just your activities.
Yeah, it's this like dichotomy that I feel like exists at no matter what brokerage you're at, where your high producing agents are the ones who struggle to be at everything and do the activities. But I think what we've learned is, regardless of your level of production, I think it's so critical important that we lead by example and show up to these things, because we're going to help those around us improve. And I think as a leader, like, you have to give to people to lead.
Yeah.
And so you're giving to people by giving your time and your expertise, and then being mentored by you and watching you and hearing you in those meetings. And that's how we can help all of the agents looking to grow, by being there. And guess what? As they continue to grow, that's going to push us more too.
Yeah.
So I think what I've seen a little bit different is, because I've been at now 4 brokerages, is a lot of the high producing agents don't show up. They're not there for them because they're too busy, right? Too busy with their time. But if you can't invest your time on growing your skill set and helping develop others, like, what are we here for?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's so good. And I think it's something we talked about, I think it was last night or this morning, like, you have to serve the culture, right? This is not a take from culture where you're like, I'm going to go get stuff and I'm going to take this back to myself. How can we help everybody here get better?
Yeah, and that's what I love about our independent agents too, that you've shared with me, that several of them in your last coachings are like, how do I give back to the brokerage? How can I be of value to those around me? And I think that was really cool for me to hear somebody say that, because it just goes to show that they're so bought in that they're saying that without you asking, like, how can I serve?
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I think I'm super excited for this group of people, and I think we're going to continue to bring the right people into that world and establish that culture the way that we want to. And what we've seen is that if you don't align with our core values, or being coachable or having accountability, our culture weeds it out relatively quick to where it's uncomfortable, right? And we want to have people that align with us moving forward. And with us wanting to bring 4 to 5 more independent agents into that group, I would love to have a conversation just around what your goals are for 2026. And if you want to go do more than 25 units, build a team, have leverage, follow the path we've already created. There's no sense in going to recreate everything and trying to do this 500 different ways and throw things on the wall and see what sticks. Follow the path, become a better person, become a better leader, and just allow your activities to carry your business forward. And that's what coaching accountability truly is in that group.
Good job.
Good. Okay, so those are our 3 models, and our goal and our progress this year, our goal is to do 225 units. Next year is 330, and we're tracking right at 225 this year. I think we're at 185 closed and pending currently. So we're pacing we're honestly pacing like 223 or so. So we need a month with 22 units instead of 21.
I'm signing 2 today.
So we're pacing right where we wanted to be, and I imagine we're going to be at or pacing better than 330 next year, especially if we can bring in a few independents that align with what we want to accomplish there. Okay, so who are we building for? So instead of the agents that fit into our models, what type of people are we building for? How would you characterize that?
I think people with a growth mindset and a learner mindset, people that are wanting to be held accountable and have mentorship, and not look at accountability as disciplinary or they're in trouble or a bad thing, but something that's going to really help move them forward and push them forward. I think it's the people with the the mindset of it's never enough, and how do I keep not only improving myself, but improving myself so that I can help others and create growth paths for others that are around me and beneath me, if you will, or that they hire.
Yeah. Show up.
Show up. Yeah.
Show up. If you're gonna, this is for anybody, if you're going to pay a brokerage or a team, buy into the culture. There's no sense in not taking advantage of the value pieces that they present, and everybody has their own type of value pieces. But if you're paying somebody because they're low cost, like, you might not be aligning and helping yourself push your financial temperature up and be able to reach your actual goals. If you're going to pay somebody and you're going to spend the money on it, take advantage of it. Don't go other places to find everything. Get everything you can out of that one place first, and if it can't feed you anymore, look at a new room. Look at a new place to go.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is people who are wanting to, I mean, we can't not say this, develop their scripting skills
Let's go.
and work on scripting, because I feel like that's what we're known for. That's our bread and butter, and we know it works. Like you mentioned earlier, social media was how I originally started to grow my business about 3-4 years ago, before everyone was doing it. And admittingly, I have failed and stopped doing that almost altogether, but my business hasn't stopped, and it's tenfold grown. And so I think the power of that, and kind of what I'm realizing from that, is having the right conversations and knowing how to create movement and being really, really well scripted and having that built in your subconscious of what to say and how to say and when to say it is invaluable.
Yeah.
Because nothing to anybody knocking social media, but you can get leads from social media all day long, but if you don't know how to talk to those people and what conversations to have, you're not going to create movement that ultimately leads to a converted piece of business for you.
Yeah. What an awesome lesson you just had for a high performer. Letting go of control, right? Letting go of saying, I'm the best at this, has allowed you to focus on becoming a better leader, which then helps you attract better people, which is how we got Nicole and Trennan. And now our branding and our social media is awesome, right? Yeah. And not that it wasn't before, right? But it's not your time, it's not your direction. And we found people that align with where we're trying to go. And now we're attracting people into our life instead of always chasing what's next. I think that's what a cool lesson you just had.
Yeah.
Okay, so other types of people that we're trying to bring into our organization. Accountability is a big one. People don't really love that so much, and we hold our people accountable. We're also empathetic leaders. We understand life happens, but the overall structure and what we're trying to accomplish needs to be alignment, right? It needs to be aligned with from the agent and from us. So we have to do what we say. They have to do what they say. Growth-minded is a big one. Being coachable is a big one. Showing up is another one.
And letting go of your ego. That's a hard one for a lot of agents that are high producers.
But we all have it. We all of us have ego.
We live in a very vain, vanity, metric industry where your success is determined by how many houses you sell, not how you treat people and how you help others.
If you truly feel and look around and say, I'm better than other people in here, and don't have the idea that everybody's where they should be, that we're probably not the right place. And then buy into the culture. Feed it, don't take from it. And those are the type of people that we're looking for, which means if you're all those things, there's probably very few of you. For real.
Just wrote out a laundry list there.
Yeah, we're doing an entire recruiting episode on this podcast, and we've talked about time and time again, the right people are few and far between, but when we find the right person, we want them in our world. So that's the reason we wanted to do this, is to explain all these things. And the hard truth is that it's hard to be all those things all the time.
It is, and we're not trying to be. We are not necessarily that we're trying to stay small, but we are small for a reason, because we are very, very selective and intentional about who has a space here. Because anybody that has worked in any environment, whether you're an agent or just think about a job that you've worked in. Most of us have had jobs outside of real estate. One bad egg or a negative person can really destroy the culture, and it can really spread like cancer when you have like that negative energy and somebody who just does not align with you. And so it's more important for us to maintain the integrity of our culture and bring the right people in and do it slow than to just go hire a bunch of people and chase dollars, because that's, in my personal opinion, what will collapse a business if you don't have the culture there quickly. So when the leaders are gone, everything still flows smoothly because everybody's bought in.
Yeah, and those kind of things you'll see red flags, yellow flags, whatever you call them, when you have somebody in your culture that's kind of taking from it and taking it down. And fortunately for us, our culture weeds that stuff out oftentimes, but for us as leaders, those are the hard conversations that we have to have sometimes, that hey, this isn't right for us and where we're going, and protecting the people that are here, because those are the people that matter the most. They've been here the longest, and that's who we're looking to develop, not just one person that might be a producer. So yeah, that's a really good point. It's really important. If they want to learn more, or if you want to grow your business in 2026, how would they reach out to us? What's the next steps for them?
So we will have Nicole, our marketing gal, when she puts out the podcast and sends out, if you guys are not on our email our email marketing that comes out with the talking points from these podcasts, one, let us know, we can add you to that, but she'll put it on Instagram, she'll put it on the email marketing that goes out YouTube with a link to our different models that we offer. And so you can download and view those, or you can reach out directly to Will and I, and we'd be happy to meet with you in more detail if you're exploring a team or a new brokerage move.
Yeah, and if you don't like following links, just DM us or reach out directly. That's what I would do, I know. I feel like this is good. Yeah. This is a good episode. I love the direction we're going for 2026. I'm excited.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for our goals that we have in place. And I was thinking about it last night, and I was like, bring in a few of the right people, we will far surpass that. Like that 330 number is where we want to be next year. And I know a couple of the right pieces come in, we could be 450. Like I actually think that if we had the right people in here. So I'm excited to talk with y'all if you're out there.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.